Absolutely. I can't wait to run, maybe see you out on the race course this year.
Hey, listen, if you allow my son to get involved too and let him be unleashed amongst the crowds, we can do it.
I'd love it. Let's make it happen.
All right, Lisa, thanks so much.
All right. Happy New Year.
Lisa Hallett, always special when she joins us. For more, head to wearblueruntoremember.org. That's wearblueruntoremember.org. A Happy New Year wish from Alaska. Sarah Palin posting on Facebook this past week, relief, a new season, this new year. My resolution time includes specific goals I know I'll meet because I hold on, like Dierks Bentley sings, to the things I believe in, my faith, your love, our freedom, to the things I can count on to keep me going strong, I hold on. One thing I'll enjoy, a lot more music, a lot less plugged-in tech time, passing on that online time that enables broken people to try to break others is a way to live life vibrantly without inviting their hate to cloud my home. More music, less blue light, less white noise equals refreshing. And no matter what 2016 brings, I'll teach my children to really grasp Jeremiah 29:11, to know that in all things, if it's good, it's God. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And Governor Palin includes a link to Bristol Palin's blog. Bristol Palin, of course, the new mother of a little girl. Palin closes out her note, Happy New Year, Sarah Palin. We wish the governor and her family a Happy New Year from all of us here at Mama Grizzly Radio. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, please visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and check out sarahpack.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Well, 2016 has started with a bang because presidential candidate Marco Rubio has endorsed the Convention of States project and Article 5 as the real solution to fix Washington. I am not endorsing any candidate at this time, but am watching all of them closely, listening to what they're saying, but reconciling that with their actions. Contrary to what progressives are going to try to spin, actions do have consequences, and you should never listen to what someone says, but rather watch what they do. Even though I am excited about Marco Rubio deciding to embrace the Convention of States project, what happened with this endorsement is that now a serious constitutional solution for the final check and balance to reign in the federal government through his endorsement immediately put the Convention of States front and center into the presidential race. This is exciting. This could be a game changer. We are now one huge step closer to making history. With 1 million supporters around the nation paying attention to everything happening from the states to our federal government, Senator Rubio's endorsement has been a shot of adrenaline to those of us who daily volunteer and champion this Article 5 solution that was written by our founders into the Constitution. We, my friends, are going to use the Constitution to save the Constitution. How brilliant. Our founders were brilliant men, absolutely imperfect, and they faced their own personal challenges. But I must remind you, they put everything aside, all their personal issues aside, for the betterment of creating the nation that you and I love today. George Mason, Benjamin Franklin, Washington, Jefferson, Madison, they knew this day would come. Why did they know that? Because they knew what it was like to live under tyranny, under British rule. In fact, in Washington's farewell address, after his second term as president, he counseled America against defined political parties because with it would come corruption and the slow creep of money for power and influence. Boy, was he right. He was right because he was a man who studied history, and he knew that the hearts of men do not change. But when faced with certain things, the wickedness and sin inherent in all of us would find a way to creep in to start to decay this incredible nation that we have. Senator Rubio, he's the third candidate to officially endorse the Convention of States solution, following in the footsteps of Governor Mike Huckabee and, of course, Governor Bobby Jindal, who has since dropped out of the race. But among other conservative icons, he is standing tall because our own Governor Sarah Palin has endorsed the Convention of States. Bristol Palin, Rush, Hannity, Glenn Beck, Mark Levin, and many, many others, including the distinguished members of the Convention of States Legal Board of Reference, of which Mark Levin is part of. My question to the other candidates is how many of you will embrace the constitutional solution that we have to stop the growing tyranny at the federal level? Cruz, where are you? Trump, come on board. Carson, yes, come on. Fiorina, let's talk. Senator Rubio stated in his endorsement that Washington will not impose limitations on itself, and that the people, only the people, must do it through a convention. He is absolutely right in stating that you and I cannot rely on D.C. to fix itself. And thankfully, I get the blessing of working with Senator Tom Coburn, who reminds myself and all those I work with every day that he is working with us because he believes the only way to change D.C. is from outside the Beltway. And of course, Senator Coburn is not the first to express his growing concern and frustration with this corruption, collusion, and corporate influence on Capitol Hill. Rubio expressed similar sentiments. The fact that a top presidential candidate has expressed that in his first day in office, he would take the necessary steps to support the states in calling for an Article 5 Convention of States. As Donald Trump would say, this is huge. This tool is the solution that you and I have as the actual unnamed fourth check against the rampant abuses of federal power. And it is high time we use it. We know that Governor Palin always talks about energy as should be an all-of-the-above strategy. Well, she's absolutely right. And now Article 5 gives us the same opportunity, an all-of-the-above strategy to get back on the constitutional path of self-governance. And Article 5 is it. We should be using every tool, every legal and constitutional tool that we have as citizens at our disposal to stop the madness in D.C. And all of the above strategy for us to use the Constitution to save it, thus save the nation and inspire generations of Americans in the process. Hello. What are we waiting for? Nothing. We're waiting for the start, actually, of the next legislative session that begins this week all over the nation. I feel a renewed sense of purpose and energy because we are approaching Obama's last days as president. Woohoo! That alone has fired me up to get back to work in earnest. This week, there will be 24 states filing their Convention of States Article 5 application in their state legislatures. I believe that 2016 is going to turn out to be a significant turning point in American history. I am so proud to be a humble, small, yet mighty part in helping champion and advocate Article 5 as the answer our founders gave us to reclaim self-governance. Oh, in the days to come, don't worry. Obama is going to try to steal as much of our liberty as possible, and he's going to start with our Second Amendment. He is going to try to stop our Second Amendment rights in gun ownership as much as he possibly can. You and I must stand firm. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if it's hard. Saving the country, protecting liberty, it is hard. But it should be our passion and our love, because the only answer for Americans to really fight back is using Article 5 and calling a convention of states to propose amendments as the states get together to remind D.C. that their powers are finite and limited. Let's put them back in the constitutional box, shall we? It is the states that our founders intended to have the true power. And the reason that power should belong to the states is because it is closer to common sense Americans who know what it takes to free themselves up, to create, to innovate, and eliminate any glass ceilings. There is plenty for all of us and plenty of great days to come. I am so excited. Happy New Year! Happy 2016. May you be blessed this week, be inspired, and be ready to work your tail off as you and I get to save America together. Tweet me this week at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizzly Radio. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're doing. Blessings to all of you. Happy New Year. This is Tamara Colbert from Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. The new budget deal underscores how little it matters who controls Congress. Their non-existent efforts to shrink government says to fiscal conservatives that we really aren't serious about fixing this problem. Why does it matter if we run a deficit? Here's why it matters. This new budget adds approximately $800 billion to our national debt. By the time Obama leaves office, the national debt will equal around $20 trillion. That's T, trillion. That is double the size when he took office. That means the government has to continue to borrow money, crowding out private investment. The opportunity cost of financing a huge government debt is the loss in financing of expanding private investment. Private investment creates economic growth. Government does not create economic growth. The choice that Congress and the president are making, and the reason this drives true fiscal conservatives crazy, is the crowding out effect. A smaller government liberates money for capital investment. Investment in expanding businesses and our production capacity creates economic growth, jobs for the future, incomes for middle-class families. But unfortunately, the so-called fiscal conservatives in Congress apparently don't have the intestinal fortitude to actually reduce the size of government. I really don't know where we go from here. This is Sarah Steelman for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Tamara Colbert, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Lisa Hallett, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lorianne Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.